A couple days ago, a video went viral on TikTok. It's a creepy guy leaving a disturbing voicemail to a woman where he basically hypes himself up as the perfect man, and the lady was truly lucky that he graced her with his presence. He's the ultimate fucking alpha male super masculine specimen, and he's taken time out of his busy day to send her a voicemail. And of course, this shit gets weird fast. He leaves multiple voicemails and they get more and more aggressive and sinister. Now, I don't want to spoil anything, but there is an interesting story here, full of a lot of twists and turns. It's like fucking Fight Club, but for a shitty pickup artist.
Yeah, hi there, Olga. It's Dimitri. Sorry I had to leave such a rushed message with you when we met the other day. I just want to quickly give you my phone number, and I had to get the heck out of the area.
Meet Dimitri the lover. He's the reason your panties are sodden right now. Be honest, if you received this voicemail, would you be able to resist him? Nobody can. No one has that kind of willpower. You would have to fuck him on the spot. So suave. And he's truly an expert of his craft. He makes himself sound so dark and mysterious. I had to give you my number and then get out of there. I had to get the heck out of there ASAP. I had to get out of town, scram and skedaddle. Why? What was so urgent that you needed to flee? What was the rush? Were you being chased by Batman? I mean, he sounds exactly like the Joker in the Dark Knight trilogy, so maybe.
In any event, I figure I better leave you a more detailed message and explain why I approached you. I am single. I have no trouble meeting women. I mean, women approach me 6-7 times a day. But I'm very particular about what I like. You're extremely elegant.
If a guy tells you he has no problem meeting women, then he has no problem meeting women. That guy is slaying pussy left and right. Dude probably has a threesome waiting for him at home, and you are lucky that he stepped away from that in order to talk to you. Spoken like a real alpha male here. No doubt this man's getting approached 6 to 7 times a day. No doubt in my fucking mind. That's probably on the low end. That's probably like during the off season. But I bet when spring break rolls around, maybe even St. Patrick's Day, he's getting upwards of 20 offers for sex.
I couldn't take my eyes off of you, and your friends were very jealous. Even if they say they weren't, they were envious at the fact that I approached you, and I was very taken by you. Elegant women are very rare. I'm Greek, and I'm very particular about what I like. So I'm giving you an opportunity here.
Sounds like he's about to pitch an NFT scam to her. It's like he's trying to sell her on some kind of multi-level marketing scheme. This dude talks like an anime villain who's explaining his plan to the protagonist. He's just so fucking weird. It sounds like Die Hard 3 every time Bruce Willis would pick up the payphone to talk to the terrorist. It's just so, like, unnerving listening to this guy talk. And then, of course, he goes into, your friends were jealous. Did you know that? I saw it in their eyes. They were so fucking envious of you when I approached you. They might say they weren't jealous, but that's just them lying. That's how you know they were actually really jealous.
I don't know if you pick up the messages on the weekend, but I'm working on a movie script, so I'm pretty much around all weekend doing that. I left you my number, 416-9184. This looks like a landline, and if it is, you may not get the message till Monday. But when you do, call me, and then we'll get together for coffee and chat and let the romance begin.
What a great way to kick off a relationship. Let the romance begin. That's such a bold statement. It immediately lets the person know, I am here with romantic intent, and it's time to commence. Let the pussy flow, please. Where's your vagina? This is where the romance starts. Come on. Didn't you hear? I said let the romance begin. I think it's extremely effective. He's reinventing the relationship meta here. No guesswork anymore. Once they say let the romance begin, well then that shit better start. It's so fucking good. It's like a terribly written line in an old video game. Like some Resident Evil 2 shit. I would also love to read that movie script he said he was working on. I bet it was an actual masterpiece up there with The Room and Citizens Kane. But unfortunately, I think we all know he wasn't actually working on a movie script. He just said that to seem interesting and cool and unique. He was most likely just sitting in a dark room in his shit-stained underwear after hyping himself up in his bathroom mirror for over an hour, working up the courage to finally call the woman who made a grave mistake of giving her phone number to this psychopath.
You look very taken aback by my approach, and I hope that isn't timidness. I hope it was just a little bit of shock at being approached so directly. because I don't really date timid women, because I'm a very direct, very passionate, very assertive man, and I want a woman who's very independent and strong. So anyway, we'll talk about that, but I just wanted to formally introduce myself. Now I have. I leave the ball in your court. You call me as soon as you have the courage to. Okay, Olga? Talk to you soon. Bye.
This is a man who can date any woman in the world, and he's chosen her. How can you be so lucky? Some people win the lottery, some people win Dimitri, and you could argue that they're both about equal in terms of how lucky the person was. So, let me go ahead and reveal the big twist here. This is all genuine, this is real, it's not fake, it's not staged. But the twist is, this is not happening currently. This is about 10 years old, I think it's like 9 or 10 years old, and it comes from a pickup artist named James Sears, who also went by Dimitri the Lover when he was in the pickup artist game. He had his own little alias as Dimitri the Lover, and this was one of the voice messages he left to someone named Olga. That is not the lady in the TikTok here, and she's not trying to like deceive people or hide it. She, in another TikTok video after this, clarifies like, hey, look, I'm not Olga. This is actually just an old sound clip from Dimitri the Lover, who actually sent this to someone named Olga. Now, James Sears, Dimitri the Lover, is in jail now. The most shocking thing I'm sure you've heard all day. I'm as surprised as you are. He was arrested for a bunch of hate speech related things and then rearrested after breaching parole. Now, I'm sure you all have a picture of what this guy looks like in your head right now, and I'm about to show you what he actually looks like, and I bet a huge amount of you are very close to what he looks like in the real world. He looks exactly like what you expect. Almost exactly like what I had pictured when I first heard this. So here he is. It's fucking wild, huh? He looks exactly like the caricature of a bad, goofy, creepy pickup artist would look.
Hi there, Olga. It's Dimitri calling again, the guy from the street. I left you a message several days ago. You said you were interested. Now, here's the way I work. I don't like leaving second messages, but I like you. You're a very elegant woman. You're very attractive. But, you know, I don't play that game. I know your friends tell you not to return calls. You're playing games like you see on stupid TV shows. So here's how it's going to work.
You just made Dimitri leave a second voicemail. God help you. Your soul is in jeopardy now. Dimitri doesn't like to leave 2 voicemails. In fact, the last time Dimitri left 2 voicemails, he cried. You gonna make him cry again? Dimitri doesn't like to cry. You can hear him starting to get angry. He starts saying, this is how it's gonna go. So we're getting to experience in real time the transformation of a nice guy into a bad boy.
It is now 4:30 on Wednesday. Now I'll assume that you've already left work, because, you know, some people leave early, and I'll grant you that. But if I do not receive a phone call back from you by 3 o'clock Thursday afternoon, I'm no longer interested, and you can erase my number. I don't play games like that. I'm completely single. I'm very intelligent.
Hey, listen, Dimitri, you don't have to tell us that you're intelligent. We all get that impression here. Just listening to you, I think we can all recognize that your IQ is at least 5 figures. Like, that shit is huge. That is a galaxy brain you're working with.
I'm great in bed. I make great money. Believe it or not, I'm a complete catch. I've only been single 4 months. I had a long-distance relationship. You know, went a year. It's very tough to maintain it like that, and it didn't work out. There's nothing wrong.
Undoubtedly, he is the complete package. This truly is a huge catch here for Olga. I can't believe the long-distance relationship didn't work out. I bet this guy was doing everything he could to make it work. But it is difficult to keep that going when the long-distance relationship is Dimensions with that 2D waifu kind of shit. But, you know, I'm sure he had a good time and it was mutual. And now Olga had a chance, but she blew it. You know, she didn't call back in a timely fashion, and Dimitri had to leave 2 voicemails, and from there, the whole ass was blown off of this operation here, and there was no salvaging the relationship. They could have been a great couple. They could have been married by now. And this is where the TikTok video ends, but the legend of Dimitri the Lover doesn't stop there. There's actually still quite a bit from Dimitri the Lover, but I won't get into it today because there's a lot. He was kind of popular on the internet as a punching bag. I was vaguely familiar of him like 10 years ago or something. I knew the name at least a little bit. So there is more, but we won't go over it today. Maybe at some point we'll go through more of his voicemails and shit that he used to do. But for now, that's about it. So yeah. I don't care what your plans were for today, they're about to change. So call in sick to work, and I don't give a shit if it's like the biggest day of your life, your wife's in labor right now, delivering your brand new baby into this world, and you're on the way to the hospital right now to be supportive and help. You're about to pull over, because I'm going to show you a man that's going to make you too horny to function. You're going to black out from pure ecstasy. I'm talking, of course, about Dimitri, the lover. A couple days ago, I gave you just a small appetizer, a little taste of Dimitri, the lover, and my god, it tasted like ass. Now, I mentioned in the last video, Dimitri the lover was actually an alias used by a pickup artist named James Sears. James Sears used to be a name that'd strike fear into the hearts of women everywhere. He's like the boogeyman. But if the boogeyman was like 5 times scarier, he looks like if Tommy Wiseau and Harvey Weinstein did a fusion dance. And yes, he has been rearrested, like I mentioned, but today I wanted to finish the voicemails that he left because in the viral TikTok video we covered, it was only half of the story, and I think it's not right that we don't get the conclusion here to this wonderful fairy tale of sadness and disaster. This dude, I have to imagine, was collecting restraining orders like Pokemon cards back in his prime. Like, goddamn. So, we're picking up right where we left off.
I had a long-distance relationship. You know, went a year. It's very tough to maintain it like that, and it didn't work out. There's nothing wrong with me. Matter of fact, I'm one of the few men in the city that has nothing wrong with him.
It's about time, finally, a man with nothing wrong with them. A sane, rational, nice guy. I don't even know why he brings up a long-distance relationship that failed. I guess he's just still very upset about it, and you can still kind of hear that pain in his voice. It's just an old scar now, a battle wound that he can't help but pour salt in. Oh yeah, the relationship failed all because of her, no fault of my own. There's nothing wrong with me, she did it. But it doesn't bother anymore, I'm completely over it, I've moved on, I swear to God I've moved on. I've had sex 50 fucking times a day ever since, and I'm much happier now, I fucking promise you, and don't you ever question whether or not I'm happy about it. Also, I have to doubt whether or not this relationship ever existed in the first place. This seems like another classic manipulation tactic from pickup artists where you're supposed to make yourself look as pathetic as possible in front of a woman, hoping that she feels bad enough to have sex with you.
So I'm giving you that 3 o'clock deadline. If I don't hear from you, you lose my number. I'm erasing yours right now, so you won't be hearing back from me. So that's it. 3 o'clock tomorrow, or you can just completely forget it.
Actual serial killer vibes coming off of this guy here. Straight up the Riddler from the new Batman movie. Hitting him with the less you have of it, the more valuable it becomes. But instead of the answer being friends, in this case, it's brain cells. I don't understand how someone becomes this delusional, this out of touch, and not have a single iota of self-awareness like, damn, this is creepy. He is actually pretending to be a fucking movie villain.
Now, I understand if you've got other issues, like maybe you're not playing games, maybe you've had, I don't know, maybe you were abused in childhood, maybe your mother has cancer, you're going to chemo, maybe you're just a person who's extremely frightened or has an anxiety disorder, maybe you're on some medication for that, I don't know. There could be another issue that I'm not aware of.
Honestly, that's the only logical explanation for why she hasn't called him back yet. That she must have been abused as a child. All of that trauma from her childhood makes it very difficult to fall in love with a real, good man like James Sears. Honestly, this voicemail reminds me of the movie One Missed Call, the old horror movie that scared me when I was a child, where you get like a phone call and it's a voicemail of you dying on the other end and then you die in real life. Getting a voicemail from James would be scarier than if One Missed Call was real. Like, this guy is so unbelievably creepy, he's making my butthole pucker. Like, I just feel like I'm going into fight or flight mode just listening to this voicemail from the outside. I briefly hinted at deeper lore in the last video with the whole James Sears anime, and once we're done with the voicemail, I'll get into it a little bit more, but he actually had his own weird, creepy newsletter too. So it wasn't just directly harassing women and making them feel unsafe. He also did it using writing as well.
But nobody says, call me, hands a person a business card, and then doesn't return calls. It's extremely passive-aggressive. You should actually look that up, passive-aggressive personality disorder. And you let me know if you've got issues, psychological issues, if you're on any sort of medication for anxiety or depression, I'm not interested.
Dude's making this sound like one of those dick-growing pill commercials like Cialis or whatever. If you're taking any of the following medication, then Dimitri the Lover's not interested, and then just goes into list potential side effects. You also gotta love the pickup artist classic of insulting the women. Oh, you should look into passive-aggressive personality disorder. I am a licensed psychiatrist, so I'm diagnosing you, in fact, with that personality disorder. And you're lucky that I'm even taking the time to continue talking to you because you're diseased. You're filthy. That is an actual pickup artist staple. Just point blank insulting women and being obnoxious assholes and expecting sex in return. Just like, hey, you stupid bitch. You disgusting harpy. I bet you suffer from loose pussy disorder. But whatever, I'm a nice enough guy to give you the time of day. So when are we fucking? It's so baffling to me, because almost every pickup artist guru I've ever listened to recommends some type of manipulation tactic that includes belittling and insulting the woman. And you can see it on full display here in these voice messages.
Okay? But if you're psychologically normal, and you haven't called me because there's been some horrible thing that's happened in your life which prevented you, that's fine. But otherwise, don't call me. Okay? Bye.
Yeah, that's right. There's only one excuse for not calling Dimitri the Lover back, and that's if you've been kidnapped, or maybe severely injured by a falling meteor or something. That's the only possible explanation for why someone wouldn't return Dimitri the Lover's phone calls. I love that perspective. Oh god, she hasn't called me in a week. Something must be wrong. She must have been kidnapped by terrorists. I'm gonna have to leave her an angry voicemail about it. It's so wild. She must have been abused as a child. Otherwise, why didn't she call me back? It just doesn't make any sense. I'm just such a catch. I'm the only guy here that is just perfect for her and she hasn't called me back. Thus, something must have gone awry. Maybe she has some kind of psychological disorder. Yeah, that's probably it. She's not sane like I am. So weird. But anyway, that's the end of the voicemails from Dimitri the Lover, at least the ones that I find. This was the director's cut of it. However, that's not where James Sears' story ends. So like I briefly mentioned, James Sears had a publication that eventually got him tossed in the slammer. That's what he was arrested for. The publication was very anti-Semitic and misogynistic. He was arrested on hateful conduct and then rearrested after breaking parole. I've only been able to find a few snippets of his publication, and you can see just how deranged this shit looks. It's like an old GeoCities internet page in like the late 90s. It is formatted like it's actually from a crazy person in Arkham Asylum. This shit is bafflingly wacky. And it's not easy to say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. It makes me question whether or not Dimitri the Lover really was as sane as he said he was in those voicemails. He said he was the only man in the city with nothing wrong with him, but then I look at this publication and I think to myself, are you sure? You sure there's nothing wrong with you? You know, I just have to doubt it. But again, it's Dimitri the Lover, alright? The savant of seduction, the savior of sex, right? Like, who am I to question his expertise? But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to at least finish the voicemail and tell you a little bit more about James Sears, aka Dimitri the Lover. Yeah, that's about it. See ya. I've got good news and bad news, and I've always found it's better to get the bad news first. Just go raw and no rubber and hit you with the cold water right away. Force feed you the vegetables so that way the dessert tastes even better. The bad news, I'm about to show you an insufferable asshole, perhaps one of the most miserable people to listen to on the planet. The good news, he's about to be arrested. Let me introduce you to Johnny. Johnny is the epitome of turbo virgin. I know this word gets tossed around a lot, but he is a self-proclaimed incel and one of YouTube's most prolific stalkers / woman harassers. This goofy goober looks like if Raymundo from Rocket Power and Tommy Wiseau did a fusion dance and created the world's most socially inept asshole. Now, Johnny's whole shtick was he would wait outside of bars, clubs, and even parking garages, literally just fucking live in parking garages, until he saw the slightest hint of a human female nearby. And then he would get his phone out and start recording himself following them, insulting them, and demanding they fuck him. And he'd follow them for what felt like miles. These videos would go on for so long, and always it would end up the same. Them threatening to get the authorities involved because they were literally scared for their lives around this guy because he was completely unhinged. And he continued this shit for about a year. I've known about his pitiful existence for quite some time, but just never really wanted to bring any attention to it for obvious reasons. But now, he pushed the envelope a bit too far and flew a bit too close to the sun, and his tiny little micro dick burned up. He actually assaulted a woman who defended herself from him. He pepper sprayed her, and it was after he instigated the entire conflict, and now that video has surfaced and the authorities have gotten involved and they're looking to arrest him and potentially charge him with assault with a deadly weapon, as well as a hate crime and the discharge of tear gas. The article also alleges that he was recently arrested after getting kicked out of a club with his friend, and while getting escorted out basically claimed white power and some other shit like that, which sounds par for the course for a fucking homunculus like this guy. Imagine evolving for millions upon millions of years and ending up like Johnny. What a bad fucking deal. Just an actual shit stain on the planet. But anyway, I'd like to show you the video that is going to lead to his arrest. What triggered it all here and started this chain reaction where finally it looks like he will no longer be terrorizing innocent people on the streets.
Can I hang out with you?
That guy just stole my car, so he's...
Where'd he go? Newport Coast? Huh? Can I hook up with you? What kind of vagina do you have? Is it an innie or an outie? Does it have beef curtains?
I'm gonna call the cops if you don't...
Yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
You're annoying, dude.
Why are you following me?
Because I wanna fuck.
That's his real voice, by the way. He's not putting on some kind of show. He's not playing a character. He genuinely sounds like one of the Looney Tunes character Inhaled Helium forever. It actually just sounds like he's making fun of a stereotypical incel demanding tendies from mommy. That is just his normal state of being. He does it unironically. Man's collected all the infinity stones of cringe and ascended to a level beyond pathetic. I'll go ahead and play the rest of the clip.
My fat ass cock is ready to get hard for you.
Cops are coming right
Why would you call the cops on me, bro? I'm just speaking.
It doesn't matter.
Fuck you, you little bitch, you little void. Oh, you little... Whoa, what's wrong with you? Chill out, chill out, chill out. Hey,
Back the fuck up.
chill out,
Back the fuck up.
chill out,
Back the fuck up.
chill out. You just kicked me in the balls. You back up, you back up,
Back the fuck up.
you back up. Throw that at me, you're gonna...
It's an absolute shame that he didn't lose his footing and fall down the stairs in front of him. I've never prayed so hard for shoelaces to malfunction in my life. So yeah, the guy's obviously a coward. He carries pepper spray because he'll push people to the absolute edge, and when they finally do, like, defend themselves, he'll just pepper spray them. Now, of course, there's almost zero people in the world that like this guy and can stand to be around him. I imagine even his own parents drink themselves into a dreamless slumber every single night, just regretting the day that they conceived this failure. But I did see on Twitter a couple of people blame the woman here, saying she assaulted him first. Now, of course, Twitter is just this disgusting cum dumpster of the most brain-rotted clowns imaginable, but I did want to at least talk about it. There's such a drastic difference between throwing a shoe after being verbally harassed for however many minutes before filming, because he was doing this even before he started filming. This is only a piece of the video. To be harassed that long and then just respond by throwing a shoe is completely different than getting fucking pepper sprayed. It just can't even be compared. That's like if a kid shot a spitball at you and you responded by hitting them with a sledgehammer. Pepper spray is hardcore. It's a legitimately painful experience. From everyone I've ever known to be pepper sprayed, they have said it's the most painful thing they've ever experienced. Luckily, I haven't been pepper sprayed, but I know from what I've seen and the people that I know, that it is something that isn't just laughed off or something trivial. So it's just not even in the same ballpark. And she did it in what I consider to be self-defense. This was like 3 a.m., the witching hour, don't summon Freddy Fazbear at 3 a.m. kind of shit. Like, this is haunted. This guy is hanging out at a parking garage in the middle of the night, being fucking creepy and weird, saying things like my hard cock is ready for you and shit like that. You don't know what he's gonna do. That is a dangerous person. So to like get him away from you and throw a shoe, I think is like an appropriate response. And especially because he already proved you can't just walk away from the confrontation, because he had just previously followed a woman all the way to her car who was panicking, making up a story about having her car stolen and visibly uncomfortable and worried for her own fucking life. So her trying to scare him away like a pigeon on the beach was really like the only thing she could do to like diffuse the situation and make him stop. And then he responded by ruining his life with the pepper spray, because now he'll be arrested for it, and I cannot fucking wait. I think that is extremely exciting news that this guy is finally going to face some serious repercussions for this shit, because it's been going on for quite some time. He has a long history of doing this shit without remorse, and this is beyond deserved. I'd like to show you just one more clip that survived when his channel got nuked. This is just another example of the kind of shit that he would do on a regular basis.
Hey, are you single?
I'm sorry, what?
Are you single?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, you think I'm hot?
Oh, I didn't say that.
You don't think I'm hot?
I can't even see you without my glasses.
Oh, really? Do you live here?
I don't even know here.
Do you want to hang out?
Probably not right now because I'm not even.
What are you gonna do later? Sleep? Can I come sleep with you? You don't want a massage?
No, I'm good.
Luckily, she eventually escapes from the 7th circle of hell there, but this was his content. This is all he would do. He would just wait to find women pretty much anywhere, really, and make them as scared and uncomfortable as possible and film it. That was his entire existence. That was his whole purpose. And now it's finally over. Can finally breathe a nice sigh of relief. You won't accidentally see this man sitting on a fucking park bench somewhere and ruining your day. So I just wanted to share the both bad and good news here. And yeah, that's about it. So yeah. I think most people realize by now that privacy's dead. I don't want to sound like a tinfoil hat wearing Alex Jones troglodyte or anything, but it's no secret that there's constant surveillance in the world. I still remember the day the news broke that confirmed the NSA is quite literally always watching, whether it's through inactive webcams or whatever. And you can see it pretty much daily. Like if you're having a conversation with your friends talking about lawnmowers, like, hey, my lawnmower just broke. I'm really upset. That lawnmower was passed down by my grandfather and his grandfather before him. I really am going to miss that bad boy, the Perkins Gobblemaster 5000. You know, I just missed that lawnmower. And then you happen to go on your phone, your ads are going to be lawnmowers. That shit happens all the time to me where I'm just talking about something and then the ads mimic what I was talking about without me ever having typed it in. It's shit like that where constantly there's signs that you're most likely being looked at in some capacity. I swear to God, this conversation has a purpose beyond me just seeming like I'm having a manic episode here of like gang stalking or something. I'm not saying that we're all just guinea pigs in a universal simulation or something by alien overlords. The reason I'm talking about this is because I watched a video where a big story just came out where some Airbnb hosts were hiding hidden cameras in their houses that they were renting out in order to spy on the guests having sex and changing, so they'd take videos and photos without their consent and without their knowledge. And I wanted to share the video and just talk about it a little bit.
It's like a scene from a scary movie. But this really happened. This man on screen is setting up a hidden camera in his home, and not just one. This is the creepy voyeur, Christopher Rogers, convicted of using these spy cams disguised as smoke detectors to secretly record his guests in their most intimate moments.
I cut out this section where it showed some of the footage, but it was people either changing, getting naked, or taking a shower, something like that. He positioned multiple cameras across his house in order to capture these moments for his own sexual pleasure. and was recently arrested for it. And this is something I never even stopped to consider when it came to Airbnbs. I'm not a big traveler since I'm a pussy who's afraid of flying, but I did recently go to Texas and we stayed at an Airbnb, and the main thing I was concerned about was bed bugs. But now this really put the fear of God in me. Should I ever get another Airbnb, I'm gonna be going through that shit with a fine-tooth comb, be like Inspector Gadget, looking over every nook and cranny for any kind of like spy tech shit. And the hidden cameras they show here are pretty impressive. I would have no idea. Granted, I have a tiny little reptile brain, but I would have no inkling of suspicion when it came to these devices they show. It almost feels like an advertisement for these hidden cameras. They're so fucking impressive. Like, they actually seem like James Bond gadgets here, straight out of Q Laboratories.
Spy cameras you can buy online are disguised as practically everything these days. This electrical adapter has a tiny hidden lens you'd never notice. And this digital clock can record your every move. It can even transmit video live, allowing whoever's watching you to track your movements in real time.
I gotta say, this feels like a little bit of Hollywood magic here. There's no way that digital alarm clock was live streaming that seamlessly with that high quality. I just don't fucking believe that. That'd be like a $50,000 camera or some shit. If you look at like courtroom footage from like court cam or something, they're transmitting in negative 240p at like 6 frames per minute. And you're telling me this digital alarm clock is better than all the security camera footage at these courthouses? I just don't believe it. I feel like that had to be like a little cheating there or something, but again, I could just be very naive when it comes to how advanced these hidden cameras are. Like shit, even my Sony A7, when I try and stream off, it gets blurry and a little choppy from time to time. That was extremely smooth. I felt like I was in the room watching her. Like, that shit is wild. But this is something that, again, I never even stopped to consider, but now that I know it's out there, seems like something some sick fucks would do.
It just looks like a modern digital clock.
25-year-old Isa Valdi was on vacation with friends at an apartment listed on Airbnb in Miami Beach when she says she spotted a hidden camera.
I turned around and I see a black cube that looked like a digital clock, and I'm like, there's no way. I open it up, there's a camera inside, I unplug it, and it's just like, wow, I was in shock.
But
bro, this lady needs to be hired by a forensics analysis team. The ability to just sniff out something fishy with a digital alarm clock at an Airbnb is wacky. Like, good shit. Like, that is extremely impressive. Fucking Batman wouldn't be checking digital alarm clocks at a crime scene, let alone while just leisurely kicking back at an Airbnb. But she was able to, like, spot something wrong with the alarm clock and confirm that, yep, it was a hidden camera. So that's great to hear. Hopefully that person behind that is also going to jail for it. And this is something that I'm now always going to have in the back of my head anytime I'm staying at like an Airbnb or even hotels in general, because I also looked into it a bit. It's happened at hotels too, where a couple of weirdo staff members have placed hidden cameras in some hotel rooms. And it's not so much the fact that I'd be upset with them seeing my cock. It's more so the fact that I'd be upset with them seeing my flaccid cock. That's just so embarrassing. I really wouldn't wish that misery on even my worst enemy. Like, if you're gonna spy on me, at least spy on me when I'm, like, at my best. Like, when my wiener's performing admirably, instead of all sad and soft and shit.
and say they immediately became suspicious during the host's tour of the property.
He told us where we should view the sunrise and said, you know, be comfortable, you guys can look at it in the nude or in your pajamas, no one's around. That moment I thought maybe we're getting recorded.
Sure enough, he says just a few hours into their stay, he discovered it.
It's a little AC adapter.
Yep, this exact device was in the wall.
Images recovered from the tiny camera show him changing in the room. He's now suing the cabin's owner, AJ Ali.
You know this guy's guilty just from him smiling in his mugshot here. This is the face of a man who's seen more dick than a urologist through his little hidden cameras throughout his Airbnb lodge. And he also sounds like the dumbest criminal of all time, like, hey, you wild and wacky college kids, come over here. If you guys want to be naked, all power to you. But why not be naked in this exact spot? If you look on the ground, I have some tape down there. Those are your marks. If you could stand there while naked and admiring the sunset, it's for optimal viewing. And also, please don't put any bags over by that desk over there. I need to keep that area completely clear for spiritual reasons. Don't put any bags over there. I don't want anything obstructing that table, and don't unplug that AC adapter no matter what you do. It powers the entire house. Hey, and now have fun out there. Like, he immediately just trips all kinds of red flags for this guy to eventually find where he's being spied on from, which has now led to this guy's arrest. And he's apparently been doing this for quite some time, considering they've recovered so many images from him.
He was arrested and charged with invasive visual recording after police say a laptop revealed more than 2,000 images taken inside the rental home, which was also listed on other property sites. He's pleaded not guilty.
This is a felony in the state of Texas.
The evidence is overwhelming.
Included in the images that we have on the computer are images of him setting up the camera in the room.
And that was something I immediately thought of. Maybe I've been watching too much Better Call Saul, but I was trying to think of how he could possibly plead not guilty and get away with this, and the only conclusion I could draw was if they tried to blame it on one of the guests. Like, no, that hidden camera is not mine. It doesn't belong to me. It must have been one of my wild guests that came in there and just used my place as some kind of sexual hotspot without my knowledge. You know, just treat it like a boogeyman, like, oh, some kind of cryptid must have broken in. A burglar came in and installed these hidden cameras across my house. It wasn't me that did it. Because it would be kind of hard to prove that the actual Airbnb owner was the one who installed them, because, I mean, I guess it could have been someone else. But the fact that this guy's such a fucking idiot that he recorded himself setting up the cameras makes it a pretty open and shut case, I would imagine. And just like that first guy who recorded himself setting it up, too.
We'd just like to talk to you if we could.
He wasn't happy to see us.
Were you secretly filming people, sir?
He gets out of his truck and takes a swipe at my mic.
No, thank you. Have a good day. Bye. See y'all later.
We're
Have a
behind
good
the
day.
gate.
He says all the accusations are false, calling them fake lawsuits just looking for money.
When he revved up his truck engine, I really expected him to go full Dominic Toretto and just bust through his own gate and just storm up to his house and just hang out in there to avoid being interviewed. But yeah, to my surprise, he did get out of the car and try and slap the mic out of her hand. Didn't really offer too much of an explanation for his innocence or anything, but of course, you know, he didn't have his lawyer present, so it makes sense that he wouldn't give, like, the most intricate of defenses or anything. But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to talk about this since I just got back from traveling, and now this has given me a little more food for thought for the next time I travel. Just maybe I'll do a bit of a sweep through the area to see if there's any hidden cameras. But yeah, that's about it. So yeah, if I was to ever do a tier list of creepy guys on the internet, the guy I'm about to show you would be the undeniable top tier triple S super smokin' style creep god. The individual you're about to see almost makes that guy that was sending pig carcasses to the coworker he loved seem sane. I know I've called one other person in a video the creepiest guy ever, but the man I'm about to show you today, I think is far more disturbed, so much so that I'm actually somewhat concerned for the safety of the people around him. I'm sure you've seen this video floating around right now because it's going viral, and for good reason. It is scary.
The Cracker Barrel, and I was going to play a song for a woman that I kind of like, and I got there, and she saw me, and she immediately pulled away, and I wasn't forcing her to listen or anything, you know. I just wanted to play the song for her. You know, give her own choice if she wanted to be with me.
Now, I'll quickly bring you up to speed on what's happening right now with the lore. So, the cops are there because the guy called them, I believe. So, he's a Kaioken times 10 weirdo. He called the cops because he wanted to report this girl's dad, a girl that he chased around while playing his music to try and win her love. And his music is downright horrifying. It sounds like 5 trash cans being violently slammed together while someone's getting murdered in an alleyway for the vocals. I have been so deep in this rabbit hole learning about this man. It's been like an episode of Mike Rowe's Dirty Jobs just gathering all this information. I'm gonna play you just a quick snippet from one of his tracks.
As fire sprout to the moon to the top and grow! All elements coming together now! Whoa! Feel the rap!
The voice of an angel. I can't believe this plan didn't work. It's so romantic it sounds straight out of a Disney film. He also keeps saying he was giving her a choice to listen to his music and fall in love with him. Even though there's no choice here because he was stalking her and chasing her playing this over his fucking boombox, I guess. But anyway, she was so frightened that she ended up calling her dad, and her dad got in contact with him and said some mean things to him. So the guy then called the cops on the dad, hoping to like get him arrested or file something against him.
You know?
Okay. Does she know you?
Yeah, I worked with her there for like 5-6 months.
Did y'all have a relationship?
No, we were talking a little bit, but it never really got serious.
Okay.
But anyways, I pulled up there, and I was in the other parking lot, and I saw her get in her car, and I was like, oh shoot, it's my moment. So I pulled up there next to her, and she pulled away from me, and so I chased her a little bit, just because, I don't know, women are crazy. Like, I felt like she wanted me to chase her.
Do you not think chasing somebody's crazy?
Well, it's just like, I only went like a couple blocks down the street.
God, it's so sad that women can't appreciate a good, nice guy like this. Women are so weird. How can they not appreciate a complete psychopath chasing them around for a few blocks while blaring music that sounds like the soundtrack to a slaughterhouse?
Just saying, don't you think chasing somebody's crazy when they obviously don't want to?
Well, I had my song playing, and I wanted to like her to hear it. Maybe.
Well, apparently she didn't want to hear it, right? So what else happened? Let's get on with this.
His complete lack of remorse and disconnection from reality is startling. Oh no, it's not weird. Like, I'm not weird. Why are you trying to say that I'm the crazy one for chasing her? I had my song playing. Oh, did I forget to mention that? My song was playing, so now everything's justified. Like, I wanted her to hear it so she'd have a choice to fall in love with me, obviously.
Her father called me up, and he made some threats to me and to my life.
Okay.
And so I just want to have his name on file.
What did he say to you?
I think he said he's going to stab me, but he's like cussing at me.
He said that, or he did say that?
He says, I'm going to do something to you. I swear I'd do something to you.
For chasing his daughter?
Yeah, but it wasn't chasing. It was like going down a couple streets. Like, that's like fun to women. Like, women like that. A little bit of excitement.
No, they don't.
Fucking unhinged logic. No, I wasn't chasing her. It was like minor stalking. You know, that's nothing. Women love to be stalked. Like, it's fun to them. It's exciting. God, what an absolute lunatic. So yeah, the dad calls, apparently made threats against him because I'm assuming his daughter called him in a panic, like, holy shit, this guy's coming after me, and I'm fucking horrified. So the dad is trying his best to, like, stop anything bad from happening, so I'm sure the dad in this, like, passionate moment's like, leave her the fuck alone, or I'm gonna do something about it, I'll give you a knuckle sandwich, why I oughta. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. To try and protect his daughter, keep her safe, doing what he can from a distance. Like, get the fuck away from her, you creep.
Well, women don't like to be chased.
What about, like,
if I was a father, I'd probably tell you the same thing.
What about, like, BDSM porn, where women like to have rape fantasies?
Well, apparently this girl doesn't.
Well, who knows? Most women do like having rape fantasies.
It took us only about a minute for him to start mentioning rape after talking about stalking and, you know, downplaying how stalking's not a big deal. Immediately brings it to BDSM and rape fantasies. From fucking out of nowhere. Oh, you're gonna call me crazy for chasing her? Well, what about rape? You know, there's rape fantasies in porn, what about that, And then he has the gall, the chutzpah to say most women have a rape fantasy. It's blowing my mind here, this guy's thought process. Fucking crazy. I'm also 100% sure he's never had an actual conversation with a woman. When he mentioned at the beginning they were kind of talking, I imagine it's because they were coworkers, and she said, like, hi to him occasionally, or, like, while they were working, were like, hey, need to do this. And that, to him, was, like, meaningful interaction with a human female. This is, like, a scary individual. His brain immediately jumps to rape when confronted with his actions.
Okay, do you think she does?
I don't know. But
apparently she don't.
Well,
so what do you want us to do?
Well, I just want you to get his name on file, just in case he does do anything to me.
Do you know his name?
I know his daughter's name.
What do you know his name?
I know her name. I don't know his name. He called me from a restricted phone number.
Okay. Here's my suggestion. Leave her alone.
A great suggestion from the officer here. Superb. Just get the fuck away from her. Leave her alone. Solves all the issues here. Case closed. Didn't even need Dr. Phil on this one to get to the bottom of it. The solution was obvious. Just get away from her.
Well, this is one song I made, and this was the final chance I was going to have.
Here's my chance. Here's my advice. It's over. Leave her alone.
Okay.
Fathers will hurt you over their daughters.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is she needs to have her own free will, man. You gotta understand, I'm a man myself, bro, and I have needs myself.
She's choosing her free will by telling her daddy what happened to you, and I'm telling you, stay away from her because he will hurt you probably.
She's being controlled by him.
For some reason, he's so delusional, he keeps thinking that she doesn't have her own authority to make her own choices, yet keeps saying she needs her own free will. She had her own free will by running away from you. By, like, being scared of you, running away, and then telling her dad that is her making choices to try and protect herself from you. Because you are the threat. You're the fucking danger that's knocking on her door, and she is responding with her own free will of getting the fuck away from you as fast and efficiently as possible. It's just such a scary thought process because in his mind, he's totally justified in everything that happened here, and it's all normal to him. And the fact that she's not in love with him right now, not in his arms, in his bed, is because her dad is forcing her to make choices to split the two apart. It's not her making those choices because he's perfect. The guy with his music, his mixtape that sounds like 5 fucking squirrels being blown to pieces, he thinks his music's the best and he's the best man in the world, so there's no way she is choosing on her own free will to not be with him. That is a dangerous thought process.
That's fine. That's her choice, right? Free choice, free will.
I think she should go do porn.
Okay, you need to leave.
It's legal.
You need to leave.
Well,
we're not doing anything. You need to leave.
I'm having discussion on.
I'm having a discussion telling you to leave.
I actually appreciate how the officer handles this situation here. He's not giving this guy an inch. He is fighting him on every point he tries to make. Not that any of his points have any logical basis whatsoever or any sound reasoning, but I like that the officer's pushing back on everything, and he crosses a line when he says she should do porn. Where does that even come from? Like, everything this guy is saying is a giant red flag, and he needs legitimate help.
I was going to let her make her own choice after the song.
Well, she's made her choice.
And I just don't think she had a reasonable opportunity to make a choice, because I'm going to blow up, and I'm going to be a famous DJ, and I'm going to be like...
How old is she?
He still really believes that because she didn't finish listening to his song, she didn't have the right to say no. She didn't have reasonable basis for declining and rejecting him, I suppose. He believes he's gonna blow up and be a famous DJ or this and that, thus she's making a huge mistake and needs to reconsider the choice, and her dad's making her choose this. It's fucking terrifying.
Oh shit. You know what? Lindsay's dad, I hope you see this fucking video.
Now, just like in The Dark Knight, we have the Joker turning the camera on himself here, and we get to take a look at him. And he really still believes everything he's done is justified and that the girl and her dad are the villains here.
You know what happens when women don't ever, come to terms with themselves? The bad shit happens. I don't know. Something the cops want to deny.
And this right here I think should be taken very seriously. This is not a mentally well person, and this comes across as an actual threat against the safety of both the girl and her father here. He's already shown that he has no problem stalking women, and I really think this needs to be looked at seriously to make sure that he's not in a position to do harm to anyone around him. It's just very concerning.
Me trying to get her to be straight. Something is wrong about that. I don't see why these traditional ass motherfuckers think they can speak shit whenever it's this woke, belligerent LGBT shit that has her right now. I just don't see it. I'm older than their fucking father. That's how I feel right now.
Yeah, this rant's really going off the fucking rails. So apparently the girl isn't interested in men, and his plan was to make her interested in men by giving her his love as well as letting her listen to his songs. And when she still wasn't interested, she blames the dad. Like, the dad is the one that's made his daughter not like him, and then says that he is older than her dad. Like, it's so fucking wild. But it is all very concerning to listen to. I just wanted to share this because I do think this is the creepiest guy I've seen online so far. And I truly hope that everyone involved here is safe, and hopefully this guy gets the help that he very much needs. Anyway, that's about it. See ya. Good morning, and welcome back to Wacky Weirdo Hour. Boy howdy, do we have an action-packed lineup for you today. Get out your cup of coffee, enjoy your cereal, it's about to be a bit of a ride. Sometimes I'm asked, why do I do this to myself? Why do I dabble in the swamp of cringe? What's the purpose? What's there to gain from staring into the abyss and letting the abyss stare back into you? And the thing is, I unironically feel there's real value here in some lessons to be learned from the lunacy. Let's say there's people out there that haven't really experienced a lot socially in life, suckling mother's bosom, and has never really branched out from the nest to get their own wings and become the social butterfly that they are destined to be. Sometimes people might not recognize that the behavior they're exhibiting is not good and is bad, not productive, is not going to lead anywhere. So by going over some of these absolutely atrocious, downright painful exchanges in the dating scene or like romantic interest, I feel like it can serve as a scared straight kind of moment, like, behold, don't be this guy. And you're like, oh, I don't want to be that guy. What the fuck? He sucks. Okay. All right. I get it now. I know what not to do. Or maybe I'm just reading way too deep into all this. I'm not a fucking hero. I'm not a psychologist. I'm just a guy here laughing at some goofy situations. Anyway, the story for today is one I got tagged in a lot last night when I was at a Lightning game. So I actually watched it unfold in real time and had a sneaking suspicion that by morning this would no longer exist. The poster would probably remove it because things went out of control. That shit went cattywampus. And I was right. The posts were deleted, but I saved them. I made sure to. I said, dag nabbit, you're not keeping this from me. You think you can hide cringe, brush it under the rug, and I won't find it? Nope, I'm lifting that rug up with a big old smile on my face. I'll say, thank you so much for this, yum yum yum, scrumptious. So I got the Library of Alexandria of Cringe, and let's just go ahead and explore. I had to censor so many handles that were tagged in this initial tweet here. It was like a fucking CIA document with all the redactions. But anyway, I've got it in working order. I don't want anyone harassed here, including the original poster or anything, obviously, but I do want to go over this. So they made a call-out post out of nowhere. I don't want to be too rude, but I genuinely can't understand how this goofball, and then he tags the guy, got a beautiful girl like, and then he tags the girl. He says the dorkiest shit, yet has a massive following. I just can't wrap my head around how any girl would go for that. I really commend his efforts not to be rude. I think he did a great job of tiptoeing around it and being polite while also getting to the point. Extraordinary manners, clearly. Excuse me, everybody, not to be rude, but fuck this guy. He's got a girl and I don't, and he's a dork and I'm a Chad. What's going on here, guys? What an injustice. He's not ugly, but Sabrina is objectively hot, where he's average at best. He spends all his time on Twitter, unlike someone who has a full-time job and a ton of money he could use to provide for a stunning woman like herself. Nah, screw not trying to be rude. He's a loser, to be honest. Oh, he was doing such a good job of not being rude too, and then the wheels just fall off. It goes tits up. He really goes off the rails. I like how he's like analyzing this now as if he's a researcher studying the phenomenon. He's average at best, but Sabrina is on like a totally different plane. Like this something's not adding up here. There's something foul afoot. And then he had the gall to criticize that guy for being on Twitter all the time. Meanwhile, Goober is on Twitter all the time making whiny posts like this, just having a temper tantrum, tears in the eyes, shaking his fist. Why is she not with me? I want her. He doesn't deserve it. I deserve it. And then here comes the stone cold stunner right on his soul. So the girl that he was talking about and loosely tagging in his tantrum catches wind of it and drops the DMs that he continues to send her. She goes, I know your ass ain't tweeting this like you ain't been in my DMs constantly begging me for a chance like a desperate loser and refusing to take no for an answer like a disgusting creep. And here's the receipts, Twitter. Thank you for the receipts. God bless. I'll speak on behalf of all of Twitter when I say it's much appreciated. So it begins with, would you ever want to meet up someday? I'd love to see a movie or take you to dinner. Whatever you'd like. To which she responds, I'm flattered, but for one I have a boyfriend and I don't think you even live near me. Oh, I like to travel, so it's not a problem, lol. And you're not married, right? There shouldn't be anything wrong with hanging out. No, but I don't feel like your intentions are platonic, so... She was right. She really sniffed that one out pretty quickly. You don't need to be, part of the Scooby-Doo mystery gang in order to crack this code here. She immediately deduced that this wasn't necessarily a friendship offer. This was him shooting his shot. But I love how he just immediately goes like, well, you're not married, so I mean, like... what's the harm? I don't see a ring on your finger. And he continues, no, I'm absolutely being platonic. My intention is just that I want a chance to prove that maybe I could a candidate as well. Like maybe you'd have more fun with me. Just to weigh your options, About to have me talking like a Sims character with that kind of cringe. Like, what do you mean, weigh her options? Brother, you came out of nowhere in Twitter DMs. Why the fuck would she want to weigh options with you? Like, she's already in a relationship which she makes clear off rip and you still keep pressing. But you know what? Let's go even deeper here. We'll get into real fanfic levels of garbage and delusion. Let's assume she's in an open relationship and would actually, want other options, I suppose, in a partner. It's not gonna be you through Twitter DMs. That's just dangerous. No one's going to take you up on shit like this, especially not when you're coming out fucking guns blazing, fucking firing from the hip out of nowhere. And there's no possibility of that anyway in reality, because she actually shuts that down directly too. No, you're not, because you're still pushing something further even after knowing that I'm in a committed relationship with Blake, so there's no options. Learn how to take no for an answer. A lesson he absolutely refuses to learn. So he continues. I'm just confident in my abilities as a partner on all levels. I'm certain I can give you everything you desire, and perhaps better than he can. I apologize for persisting. You're just breathtaking, and I want you. I'm willing to fight for you at this point. To which she responds, there's no fighting for me, you don't know me, and you couldn't give me anything that her current partner doesn't. She lays into him. She lays down the brass tacks here. And basically he says, that's a lot of words. Too bad I'm not reading them. Because he refuses to accept anything she is saying and only continues to exist in this dimension in his brain that is disconnected from the reality here. But I will say, he has piqued my curiosity. I have to know what abilities he's so confident in here. Like, balloon animals? Like, he learned a magic trick from Chris Angel? Like, what abilities are we talking about? Because it's certainly not like romantic abilities whatsoever. He's fucking cold calling like a telemarketer here through Twitter DMs. So he responds again saying, I had to give my 100%. If we're being truthful here, I don't think he deserves you. I see what he tweets and he's dorky as hell. You're hot and one of the kindest people I've ever seen on this app. What do you mean? Like, so I'm guessing he just like stalks her feed or something. He's like, he's making up this fantasy in his head where it's like, this is an angel and I should be with her, clearly. This guy's too dorky, too much of a dweeb, doesn't deserve that. It's so creepy. I have a good job and I'd be willing to let you crash with me at my place for as long as you'd want if you'd be willing to give me a chance someday. That's so generous. I mean, wow. He'd be willing to let her crash at his place? Wow. And they say chivalry is dead, huh? I don't even know why he's making that offer. I don't think that's something anyone would want to do. I don't know why he's making it sound like he'd be willing to make a sacrifice by letting her live with him when he's fucking obsessed with her. It's oh my god, it's so fucking weird. I'd take care of you, but you everything you want? Oh, buy you everything you want and give you anything you'd need. I haven't found any ladies in my area that share my same interests or honestly that are as beautiful as you are. I guess you just brought out my competitive side, lol. You absolute weenie. It's not a competition. And if dating was a competition, you're gonna stay losing with an attitude like this. I don't know why he's treating it like a game of Counter-Strike where if he just plays it properly, he'll go ahead and squeak out the W. She's already in a relationship. No matter what you do here through fucking Twitter DMs, it's not going to change that and she's not going to want to go with you. No matter how much you lecture her about why her current partner doesn't deserve her, which is an outrageously weird thing to do. You don't even know them to begin with. You are just someone that is stalking their fucking Twitter feeds, I guess. Like, this whole thing is super creepy. And he just doesn't see it. So she posts these DMs, and obviously a lot of people started dunking on him for it. And instead of trying to learn from it and understand why this isn't a good thing, he takes it as another opportunity to proclaim his love for this stranger. He says, "You have to be lying. Why is everyone acting like I'm crazy? Sabrina is drop dead, sexy. Block A or Blake, whatever the fuck, is not. He's painfully average and mediocre at best. As I said before, he ain't ugly, but compared to her, he might as well be. Sabrina's figure is what I'd call perfection. I don't want to be disrespectful, but I'm trying to make a simple point. Her hair is majestic, her face is gorgeous, and her body is literally to die for. Not to mention she's strong and takes what she wants. I admire that. And she doesn't want you, so admire that and come to terms with it. She will never want you. No matter how many times you make Twitter posts about her, obsessing over her. It's scary. It's unhinged. Stop it. Like, I don't know how else to like put it in plain terms. But even with people putting it in the plainest terms for someone to understand, he still just thinks that like his intellect is above everyone else's and no one's understanding his point. So after all of this kind of blows up, he then starts sending her more DMs about it. He comes back around into the DMs saying he didn't mean to put her on the spot, to which she responds, "You did. Now Twitter sees the creep that you are." And he says, "I don't think of myself as a creep. I'm just being honest and straightforward." And she says, "No, you're a loser and a creep who doesn't understand the word no." She's right. It's very blunt, but it is correct. The way he is behaving here is not taking no for an answer and being very creepy. Again, they don't even know each other. And he has become this obsessive over this whole situation. Like, even so much as saying, like, he doesn't deserve you, it's me, this and that. And he doesn't recognize why that's creepy. And I know that's not exclusive to just him. It's very important to have self-awareness and self-reflection where you can separate yourself from a situation, take a step back, and see how things look. He needs to be able to have that ability. That's an ability he should be confident in, so he can recognize that the way he has conducted himself here is creepy. You are a creep in this exchange, and you need to grow from it to not be like this going forward. And he just keeps going. "I thought you'd appreciate my persistence. I thought wrong. You turned the app against me. I didn't get any engagement before that tweet. People really lined up to defend that dude. I didn't think he was that liked, to be honest with you." It has nothing to do with the individual in this case. It just all has to do with you being creepy and people wanting to let you know that what you're doing is not okay. He's just not able to grasp the situation. And I also don't know why he would think this persistence would be appreciated. Again, you don't even know her. And being extremely persistent and annoying about shit is something nobody likes. Not even in a romantic partner, but in general, even as a friend. If you're just gonna keep like poking and pestering and like constantly prodding, no one's going to like that. She then explains to him again how what he's done is something nobody will appreciate, and he just ignores it and says, "Nobody on this app understands what my point even was that I was trying to make." What point? You're not making a point. You just keep saying how much you like her and find her boyfriend to be dorky and unworthy of her. What point are you talking about? There's not some like deeper underlying message that you're trying to get across that we're all too stupid to see. You're just being a weirdo for everyone to see publicly and throw tomatoes at. This is the last DM here that was shared. He says, "I treat women with the utmost respect, actually." That's the impression I got as well. Yeah, that's what I got when reading this too. To which he responds, "You don't when you can't accept the word no and objective women. Your loss, I guess." That's just a classic sign-off from like every single one of these meltdowns and bad romantic exchanges. Somehow it always ends with the guy saying, "Your loss. I'm actually like the best dude ever. I'm like the chillest, nicest guy ever, and you just blew it with me, so put that in your pipe and smoke it. You'll be thinking about that every night trying to go to sleep. What a big loss for you." I don't know why that's so common amongst all of this, but it is very interesting to see it every single time. But anyway, I just wanted to share this because I've been so fucking deep into these like weirdo romantic exchanges and all of that, so that's really about it. See ya.